Hello, 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 everybody. I wanted to do something different and bring on one of my dear friends. Her name is Kiru. She's an absolute social media wizard. She's an absolute genius on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. And, I've known her at this point. Kiru, how long have we known each other?
My God, it's been forever.
Okay, so we actually, right out of university, we got jobs together working for Car2Go Toronto. And it was basically like a car share company based in Toronto. It's no longer in the city, but we actually helped launch the company, and that's where we met. We've been really close friends ever since. And just to introduce how we're even getting into this is because literally what happened was when we were working, I don't know, it was just some boring ass shift, and basically she just came up and she was like, you know what, I'm thinking about starting off a YouTube channel. And then I think for the most part, people in the office were kind of like, ooh, like, because back then it was like 2013, maybe 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And people were kind of like, oh, a YouTube channel? Like, what do you mean a YouTube channel? So nobody really took it seriously, except for yours truly. I took it seriously and I was like, you have to do it. You have the personality and you're going to kill it. And now I just wanted to get you on camera to kind of talk about that. So can you just introduce yourself, talk a little bit about what you do and your full-time job and kind of how you got started on YouTube?
Oh my God, that introduction just like I almost cried. First of all, like that's major goosebumps because it's true. There were so many people who didn't believe in it, so many people who took it as a joke, and you were one of the first people who were like, "Yes, hell yeah, do it. You're gonna blow up," and you said that from day one, and it happened. It happened. So thank you so much for like having all that trust and love and faith in me. Thank you so much. So full time, I am a behavioral therapist for kids with autism. And this is like, and I've been wanting to be an actress ever since I was a little girl. And I was like, hey, if you're not going to give me a seat at your table, I'm going to build my own table. And so that's why I started my YouTube channel. And I kind of just like went into did my acting and all that stuff. And I had a lot to say. Clearly, I talk a lot. So I just wanted to like have a platform where I can just share my wisdom, let me just say, quote unquote wisdom, and just like my 2 cents on different things that I have, like perspectives and whatnot. And I started a Facebook page initially called Ask Kiru, and then no one took that seriously. I was like, yo, come and ask me your problems. Let me help you out. Because I had nothing else better to do with my life, right? So,
oh my God, wait a minute. Because the page was initially called Ask Kiru. It wasn't Kiru's Corner, right?
Yeah.
So just, okay. So first of all, I wanted to say that initially, like, what was the thing that sparked your brain to be like, you know what? Fuck this. I want to start a YouTube channel on my own. Like, what made you actually do it? You said you didn't have a seat at the table, but what actually sparked it up?
So initially, like a lot of random people would come to me and ask me their problems. And I'm just like, I barely know you. Why are you asking me things for? But then I thought about it. I'm like, if I can help people around me, imagine how many other people I can help around the whole world, maybe. So then that's why I started the Ask Kiru page, but no one took it seriously. So I was like, okay, if you're not going to come to me, I'm just going to come and give you my answers about like different things that I have. And so and I thought about what's the best platform to do that. And YouTube was like, really up and going at that time in 2013. So I said, okay, let's do this. And that's
okay. So initially, honestly, from firsthand experience, Kiru, I don't think it's harder to grow any platform than YouTube. Like, I think it's the hardest platform to grow. Like TikTok, I've seen people blow up really quickly. Instagram, I have some followers on Instagram, not a lot, but it's still something. And I just kind of figured out a system to actually grow them if I wanted to. YouTube seems like it's a harder platform to grow. So you're at about 14,000 subscribers. Yes, I did my research. So the question for me is like, how do you grow a YouTube channel from nothing? And what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's just starting?
So when I first started, I think one of my biggest mistakes that I made was I didn't have a niche. Like I talked about like social issues and everyday stuff, but it was like skits and rants, and then I threw in some pranks in there and stuff. And there wasn't really like a niche, right? So I think anyone who wants to start right now, you should find your niche. What do you exactly want to talk about? Because people that come to your channel want to be like, oh yeah, I go to his channel because he talks about like travel. I want to go to her channel because she talks about like makeup, whatever, So you need to have that kind of niche in order to do that. Because I mean, it worked for me just because like I tried out different things to see what worked best for me and what kind of audience I'd get. So I liked exploring and whatnot, but I think I would have grown a lot bigger and faster if I had that niche. So that's one of the biggest advices.
So, okay, write this down, people. You have to niche down drastically in order to actually get some sort of following. Okay, honestly, I'm having a problem with that. And we've talked about this before, and you've kind of given me some really good advice, but I want to talk about it on here. In terms of like, for example, half of my following, maybe 75% of my following is because of my travel show there that I shot on Travel XP. That's what a lot of even the people that follow me on YouTube at this point. I just crossed that 1,000 subscriber barrier, which was really tough to do. I know that's so tough to do,
Oh, yeah.
but most of even those people follow me based on Travel XP. You know, on Instagram, I have like whatever 12,000 followers, something like that on there, and most of that following is from my travel show, and then the rest is from real estate. So I'm kind of in this weird position where I don't know whether to go real estate or travel. Like, what kind of advice would you give me?
I mean, mostly I think they follow you because you're just this really good looking dude and just like
Wow.
and
Wow,
just
thank you.
so
Thank you.
knowledgeable and your camera presence is amazing. So a lot of people like that as well. Like if you have like a really boring camera presence, like no matter how good looking you are, we're not gonna follow you, you know, like it's just not fun. So you have all that as well. And I think right now you're focusing a lot more on real estate and stuff. So I would probably go in that direction, or maybe you could even have two separate pages and see like what works better for you, right?
Tell me, how did you get to your 14,000 subscribers? First of all, B, talk about your most popular video and kind of how you got there.
I really think it's more like my mom who created like 13,000 of them. I probably made 1,000 accounts just to like give myself subscribers. That's my nephew screaming in the background, by the way, because there's an ice cream truck outside.
I was thinking, you know, it's funny, like, because I've heard your nephew screaming before, so I know what it is, but for whoever's watching this, it's probably like, what is that noise in the background? I'm in my car. I'm in my spot here down, you know, close to the downtown core. He was at her family's house, and she's just the nieces are over there.
Use these days because I have people screaming in the back all the time. But anyways, back to this. I think I started creating videos where people can relate to it. That's like the main thing. Everyone wants to watch something that they can relate to, right? So I started creating
notes. Keep going.
Go for it.
I'm serious. I'm actually serious.
Make videos that people can relate to, because if you can't relate to a character or a story or whatever, they just won't come back to your channel. But if there's something that, hey, yeah, I've been through that, and then they develop that kind of feeling or that kind of bond with your videos, and then you get those more views. And I started creating videos about like social stuff and everyday things, the people that happen every day. And then I started creating a lot of comedy videos as well, and everyone wants to laugh, right? Because you watch TV to kind of escape from reality, right? So you want to make something that people can laugh with.
So what is your best video in terms of views to date?
To date, well, I brought one of my white male friends over. I should have called you, Alex. I don't know where you were at that point in my life. So
oh my God, that is I wanted you to say it. Can you just explain what that video was about? I loved it.
It was an April Fool's video, and where I brought a white guy home and I said, hey, this is my boyfriend. And my parents were just like, well, my mom was like, wait, what? And she didn't want to like obviously say anything in person. And it's nothing to do with like racism or anything like that, but it's just like in a brown household, especially my household, which is like very orthodox and very like, you know, old school. They're like, no, you have to bring a Tamil boy home and all that stuff. When I brought home a white boyfriend, they were like, what? And they kind of like lost their mind, but my mom tried to cover it up, and she was just laughing the entire time, just very nervously laughing. And yeah, that video blew up. And a lot of the comments are people saying like, oh, your family is so racist, blah, blah, blah. And so a lot of the controversy came in between that. And then people started arguing with each other. But hey, bad publicity is good publicity. So I'll take it. You guys argue, I get the views. It's fine.
How do you come up with your ideas? What is the best way to come up with ideas? Just kind of give a little bit of, spew a bit of knowledge on that. Just sprinkle some knowledge on it.
A lot of my video ideas came from me traveling to Cartago every day on the subway, where I have a 2-hour commute. So I'm just sitting there looking at people, just, you know, people watching the whole time. And I just like all these ideas start sparking. Sometimes I get ideas when I'm like laying in bed, just trying to go to sleep, sometimes in the shower. So always have your phone with you or a notebook or something and jot those ideas down right away. And I still have like 50 ideas in my phone right now that I haven't like got to. And I just kind of like, the idea comes and I start brewing the idea in my head for like a week, and then Sunday comes, I just kind of just like jot my notes down and then start filming, shooting, editing, publishing all in one day.
Okay, so that's actually a good point. Do you have specific content days that you like block off and schedule and time block, or just in general, do you do that every day, or is there one day? How do you kind of plan out your content?
So some of the ideas I just kind of brew in my head right away, and I'm like, you know what? I need to speak about it right now, and I don't want to script about it. And I don't like writing a script because then it just becomes, it's so like, not real, like it's not natural, right? So I want to be very natural. So whatever an idea comes to my head, I just kind of, sometimes I just pull out my camera and just start shooting. Other times I will let the idea brew and I kind of like, make plans around it. How can I deliver this correctly and whatnot? And so I'll take like a week or two to do it. And some ideas, I have like ideas from like 2 years ago that I still haven't shot, because I'm like, no, I need to perfect this. I need to perfect this. Like more like skits and stuff. But those kind of videos I take a lot longer. Did I answer your question? I feel like I lost track.
No, I said no. All I said was like, do you have a certain day or time where you're like you schedule like a day?
Yeah, for sure. So I started posting videos every Sundays. I felt like that was the best day, just because it's the end of the week. People are getting ready for work, and they're kind of like, usually people are home Sunday evenings and whatnot, and they're just kind of like, relaxing and just want to sit at home, just watch TV and whatever. So it's like the best day that I found for me, because the rest of the week, like, people are busy working and whatnot. Friday, Saturday is a horrible time to post videos because people are out chilling. You want to go out and do stuff. Maybe not during COVID, but now that stuff is getting open again, so they'll start going. So Sunday was my best day to do that.
Okay, interesting. Because you know what I'm starting to do. I just read this book. Well, I'm reading this book. It's called The Common Path to Uncommon Success by John Lee Dumas. He's an entrepreneur. He has this amazing podcast called Entrepreneurs on Fire. And one of his main things that he says is that you have to schedule, like, if you want to plan out a full day of content or a full like week or 2 weeks or whatever of content, he likes to schedule pretty much a full day. And his day is Tuesday, and then try to just bang out as many things as possible. In terms of the actual content production, right? You have some really highly produced videos. You have some other ones that you're just like this on camera. 2 questions. Have you seen a distinct sort of difference between viewership when it's highly produced, or is it kind of the same? And B, what kind of equipment or videographers or whoever do you need in order to produce the type of content you do?
Getting that whole crew and cast and whatnot is so difficult, so challenging. So that's why like my skits are not as much as my rants would be, because rants it's just me and the camera, the tripod, lighting, everything. It's a one woman show, and it's just so much easier to produce that, right? But when it does come to like a skit and getting a cast and crew, is just so much more difficult, especially with like scheduling and all that kind of stuff. And you're not paying anybody, so I don't have that kind of money, bro. Like what, right? So I got
soon enough. You're getting there. You're gonna get there soon. I'm telling you, I feel it. I feel it coming.
But if you say it, it's gonna happen.
It's happening. I feel it.
So especially when getting people to come for free, it does take a little bit of a challenge, and just asking people and whatnot. And a lot of people are willing to do it because they're trying to get into the field as well, and they need that kind of backup. They need that for their portfolio and stuff, so it works out. And yeah, so if I was to do a skit, then I have to get location, a cameraman, other actors, and all that kind of stuff. So it does take a lot of time, and so it does come out of your pocket as well, because I want to be able to feed my cast and crew as well. So at that time, it does come out of my pocket a little bit. It gets a little expensive. My last production, the web series I made, it's called Worlds Apart. That took a lot of it took a huge bite out of my wallet, for sure. Yeah. So now I'm producing a show, a short film called The Broken Glass.
I was just about to ask you that, so this is perfect. Go ahead.
Segue into the next question. Broken Glass, and that somebody saw my last web series called The World's Part, and he said, you know what, I want to produce your next show. And so you never know who's watching and what's going to come, what kind of opportunities are coming out of it, right? So yeah, you can put some out of your own pocket, because that's just an investment for your own channel, which will bring other things, right? If you're producing something really, really good, and like you asked, like, yes, those videos do get a bit more views because it's well produced and whatnot, and people like to watch like videos instead of someone just sitting in front of the camera just talking. It gets a little boring, and people's attention span is so small these days that you can't sit here and just talk forever, and people just won't listen to you, right? They want to see action, they want to see love, they want to see all sorts of stuff. But anyways, so he is going to produce my next show, so this is wonderful. Now I have the freedom to get even a bigger crew of more actors, like more like professional actors to come in and do it, and it will be a better video at that point.
What's the timeline for this thing? Because I know how tough these are to produce. And honestly, because I've been a part of these shoots, it takes forever. And then the editing process, some take years, some take actual years. What do you think the timeline is if you were to give kind of a rough estimate?
So I'm the kind of person who, if I think about an idea, I need to do it right away. If I lose momentum, then I just will slack, right? It's really bad. So I guess it's a good and bad thing, because it's a good thing because I'm like, okay, I get my shit done, and I whoever's working with me, I'm like, okay, let's do it, let's get this done. So it does. Sometimes I would take like a couple of weeks maybe, and that's like the fastest turnaround time, right, for like a short film to come out. But if I'm working with like some super professional people who are like really picky and perfectionists, it might take a little bit longer. I'm hoping not, but I want to give it like a month before this whole production can come out.
Okay. So what do you mean, before it starts, or before you're planning everything, or you mean it's done in a month?
I want it to be finished in a month. So like,
wow. Okay. I see you. The
thing is,
that's so quick, but
it is
done in a month. Like, get it done in a month. Okay. Next question. I know I'm like just bombarding you with questions here, but honestly, like, what is the motivation to keep going, and how do you? Because sometimes for me, I tend to like procrastinate a little bit too much. And what's the motivation, and how do you actually like get up and I find it tough to get up off my ass sometimes and actually do stuff. So how do you do that, and kind of what's your process? Do you have a specific process?
I think anybody that has a passion for something, you can't wait to wake up and start working on it, right? And that's how I am with YouTube, and that's how I am with like all my media stuff. I can't wait to wake up and just like start working on stuff, like do scripts and whatever. So having that passion really helps. And then just like, I guess, eliminating all the other kind of stress that you have in life and whatnot, and just kind of focusing, having a tunnel vision towards that one passion that you have, it really helps to like keep going.
Can you give me your top 3 ways that you can start and grow and nurture a platform, whatever it may be, TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube? And we can conclude this, because I don't know if people are going to keep listening to that. I don't know how long we've been even going, but what are your top
Alex?
What are your top 3 kind of things that you would recommend for people to do? And I'm going to write this down, folks. I think you should too.
First thing, you need to find out what your passion is. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to show the world? And what are you doing differently than the next person? Because everybody's on every social media platform nowadays, right? So what are you so passionate about, and you think that you can do better than somebody else? And then secondly, you need to work on that craft every single day. Like if you just like, take a break, consistency, exactly. And it can't be like, oh, I'm just gonna work on it for like 2 minutes or whatever. Like put in a good hour at least, like minimum an hour of whatever it is, to like increase that, work on that craft and develop that craft, and keep learning every single day about different things about that craft, right? Because if you're into like modeling or whatever, then learn about different poses, different outfits, what works for you. It can be just simple as modeling. It could be something like, oh, I want to do like science stuff, or I don't know, right? And give people something new, and find interesting ways to do it. Don't just, do it to sit there in front of the camera and talk, because everyone can do that. Find interesting ways how to capture people's attention, how to keep their attention.
You gave me 4 or 5 ways here.
I know. I feel like I'm
perfect. So here's what you said. You said number 1, passion. Find out what you're passionate about and roll with that. Number 2 is consistency. I'm sorry, I'm just repeating for everyone to hear. Consistency. So work on it every day. And like you said, don't put in 15, 20 minutes, put in an hour of solid work on that thing. Number 3 is learning. So to continue to educate yourself based on whatever it is that you're thinking about doing, that you're passionate about. And number 4 is you have to make it interesting. And I think, sorry, I don't mean to keep you too long, but can we talk about like the importance of keeping things interesting? And I'm sure this will be interesting to a lot of people, just because like you have a big following. I'm sure people want to see this based on, you telling us all this crazy value. You're dropping value bombs out here. But can you just talk about like, how do you make things a little bit more interesting? How? Tell me.
So you want to, for nowadays, people's attention span is less than a goldfish. Like it's so fast. So you need to make sure that you're not sitting in one place and just talking to the camera. You need to have like a voice that's like, it grabs people's attention. You need to have like comedy inside, right? Like maybe sometimes people like, if you talk really slow, and maybe people like that kind of stuff. But some people just like hyper blah 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 blah, fast. Like, and I speak really fast, so I don't know, people like capture that or whatnot. Keep it interesting, and like when you're doing YouTube videos, you'll see a lot lot of people who like like 1 second here, 1 second here, 1 second here. Use your entire frame, like, you know, use everything that you have, the whole space. And then like put in videos and like pictures, just like have like stuff flashing out at people. They like that. Just keep it changing, keep it constantly changing. So that will keep people's
Got it.
attention. And
Okay.
less than a minute. That's why
Less than a
TikTok
minute.
works so well, because all those videos are a minute or less. And that's why people are on it constantly and whatnot. If your videos are like an hour long, like maybe you'll have the odd people that watch it. But nowadays, this generation, no way, no way.
Okay, got it. One last thing. Can you just mention where people can find you, where people can follow you? Just kind of tell everyone where they can find you.
Okay, well, if you want to look at my horrible modeling photos, you can do that on Instagram. If you want to see my, you know, trying to be funny videos, and you can see that I'm on TikTok. And if you want to see me just like talking and ranting about stuff that happens around the world, you can find them like me on YouTube. And then my random everyday thoughts, you can find me on Twitter.
Awesome. I have one more question to cap it off, and then I'll let you go.
I've had $1 for every time you said one more question.
How
Go
do
ahead.
I get my teeth as white as yours?
I can't with you. You know, it's just a Zoom thing. It's a Zoom thing. It's reflecting off your t-shirt. It's not white at all.
Okay, great.
Colgate,
Okay.
Colgate. That's it.
I'm gonna get some white strips after this.